Hello, in this video we're going to be looking at the light machines that are for the face, the cranium and the spine. And yeah, let's just look at that one. So this is the first one. There's several different colours in there. It has blue, red, green. That's red and green, giving a yellowy green colour. And that's blue and green, giving a turquoise colour. Red and blue, giving a mauve colour. And red, blue and green, giving a white colour. In the middle it's kind of white and then spreading into the different colours around it. Now the light machines for the face, there's two of them. The second one is the same size and it has the higher energies. This it's got this really, which is red, yellow and blue. It's got this really nice violet, which is much more for the higher energies. It's got blue, yellow, and then that's red. This is red and blue, which gives purple. Red and yellow, which gives orange. Blue and yellow, which gives a really nice light blue. Then again all of them, which gives this kind of violet colour. So those are the two light machines for the face, the spine and the cranium. They differ from the, well, there's a red one for the body. They differ from the body ones in that they're longer and they're set back. They're set back about 40 mil, whereas these ones are set back about 12 or 15 mil. And they're softer. The face, the cranium, the spine, they're much softer. The setting back is softer, but also there is far fewer infrared. There's more visible light LEDs in this one. And in the body ones there's more infrared, and the infrared helps ground it, gives it a much more grounded quality. It takes it into the body, into the cells, and the light kind of shines through in a way. I know it all shines through, but the infrared kind of grounds it. So this is a kind of a higher level and softer. And compared to the eyes, one for the eyes, the eye one is much longer. It only has, and it's a much lower setting, because with the eyes we are working with the eyes, but actually the light is going through and working on the brain. You've got all different colours, but notice it's not such a deep colour. It does have a strong effect because we're working directly through the eyes onto the brain. There's no infrared in the one for the eyes. It's just LEDs. The whole power rating is down by about 80%, and it just gives it very soft. Plus it's set back much further, so the light all homogenizes and spreads out and makes a nice kind of caption area for the light. And yeah, it's just very soft, the one on the eyes, because that's for the brain. Then we step up a level for the face, the cranium and the spine. So let's look. Now people have asked that I share how I work with these different colours, which has primarily come from holographic breathing, how the different areas of the body, the different organs, the different energy systems, how they have areas in the face and cranium and through the whole body relate to them. And with the light machines, we shine the light through that area, and it also has a healing effect. The structures that I'm going to show you, you can use them for just healing as well, and as visualization. It's very similar to a system that I previously learned called Tibetan pulsing. It's not the same, but it's quite similar. In the body it's similar, the face and cranium are quite different actually, and the spine is similar. And that came, interestingly, from a system called the 12 Lights. So, but anyway, this is primarily coming from my experience with the holographic breathing and those energies, and using those with the light machines. And you can use any system you like. This is probably different to the colours in acupuncture or in shiatsu or different things. There'll be similarities, but they'll be different. And also in the end result, you can use any colour anywhere on the body. But this gives a basic system that people can expand out from and just use the lights intuitively. So we're going to start off with green. Green on the face, around this part of the jaw. The green has a very grounded quality to it. You feel when it goes into the body there's this kind of magnetism. You feel it connecting to the earth. You feel the sit bones dropping, the heels pulling down. This magnetic quality to it. It's very grounded. For light, it's very grounded. And in the face, this part of the jaw relates to this. It's the lower energy and it's in this lower place. In the cranium, it relates to the occiput, the back of the head here. So in the face, we have this part of the jaw where it's coming not right up to the top. This is a bit different here, but where it's coming up under the zygomatic arch there, around this whole area, that relates strongly to the green. You can use any other colours there, but it relates very nicely. It does have the quality there of this grounded energy. The green also relates to the liver, the gallbladder, the duodenum, the pancreas. It relates to these really deep, grounded, constitutional organs. And it relates this lower part of the jaw, lower back jaw, lower back of the cranium, the occiput, also has this grounded quality to it. And in the spine, surprisingly, it's not a long way down the spine. It's from, there's 7 vertebrae in the neck, in the cervical vertebrae, and then you go into the thoracic vertebrae, and it's the last 3 of the cervical vertebrae. So it's from T5, C5, cervical 5, to T1, which is 4 vertebrae here. And then at the very end of the spine, where we've got the sacrum, it also relates either side of the sacrum. And when we're dealing with the throat as well, it's the same area, but it's kind of the sides of that same area. It's to do with that green colour, very grounded. As I say, you can put these anywhere, but there's a structure which I'm going to go through. Red. Here we have red. It's the chin. Around the chin also here. And the nasal passageways. It's the front of the body. It has a very fiery energy to it. Oh, that's not red, sorry. There's the red here. Red. Has a very fiery energy to it. It's still grounded. It relates a lot to the hara, the small intestines. Also relates to the testes, the ovaries, the uterus, the prostate, those organs there. Relates to the heart. So it's these red organs, or at least this is how I experience them. Not everyone might experience them like that, but I do, and that's how I feel them when I'm working with these colours and with holographic breathing. So that's the red, chin, around the chin area. Also here, this is great because it shines through to the inside top of the spine. You can release these top vertebrae from the inside, and down through the nasal passageways is also red. So that's on the face. Now on the cranium you have the sphenoid bone. This is the body of the sphenoid here. We have the lesser wings and the greater wings of the sphenoid here, and the body here in the middle, which is actually where it's coming in this nasal passageway. So if you shine through the nasal passageways, you're getting the red of the nasal passageways, but it's actually, I don't know if you can see that, it's shining through onto the sphenoid as well, so you get both there. And here at the sides of the cranium you've got the greater wings, into the back temple area there you've got the greater wings there and the greater wings there. With this you don't want to use this directly on the eyes. You never actually want to stare into a direct light, any kind of light, the sun, a light bulb, anything. So with this you don't want to do it directly on the eye. It's also good to have the eyes closed. Even with the one for the eyes, still good to have the eyes closed, because that does relate directly back into the brain. And on the spine it's the very bottom 4 vertebrae. It's grounded. It's L2 to L5, the bottom 4 lumbar vertebrae at the base of the back before you get to the sacrum. On the throat, it's the base of the throat, so it's bottom front of the face, bottom front of the cranium in the sphenoid, the organs, lower front, lower spine, lower front on the throat, get on the thymus gland in here. Is it thymus? Thymus? Yeah, top of the chest there, bottom of the throat into the thymus gland, red. It's gorgeous for that. But on the throat we would more use the body. It's more regulated. The body wants stronger, it's much more grounded. You can feel it, it's like boom, grounded, but it's also stronger. The face and cranium is much more delicate. You don't need that kind of power there. So then, we need the next one. We need the yellow. The yellow is much more to do with the stomach, the spleen. It's also the throat and the esophagus. It's a lot to do with the tongue. And in the face, it is to do with the tongue. The tongue has all the colours, but it also has this yellow colour. It's the nose. It's got a lot of connective kind of cartilage and connective tissue in the nose. And as well as relating to the stomach and spleen, relates a lot to the connective tissue and the diaphragms through the body and the tendons and things like that. So that in the face is the nose. In the cranium, now people think of the palatine bones, sorry we have all these bits with this here, but we can see through the very back of the upper palate. We've got the palatine bones, very fine bones across there, and then these bones coming up here, pterygoid plates, they're the legs that drop down from the sphenoid. They're part of the sphenoid, but the palatine bones are the top, the back of the upper palate, but then the side of it is the outer edge of the nasal passageways, and it runs up behind the eyes. Very thin, fine bones, like a gasket between the face and the cranium. People think of these as a bone for the face, or that's how they're placed. I think of these as an extension, or energetically an extension of the cranium, like the nose for the cranium. So the yellow is the nose, but it's also the nose for the cranium, which you can get to through the nose, because it's the back of the hard palate, which will be the back of the lower floor of the nasal passageways, and then the sides of the nasal passageways, so you get to it directly through here, and also here. You shine through onto the palatine bones with the yellow through here and here. It's good to check it out in anatomy, and these are great because you just get in there, and they're really nice. And there's this kind of where this all joins to the cranium, and it releases this buffer between the face. It's like gasket between the face, and it releases that. Very, very releasing. So that's the cranium and the face. The spine, it's the next one up. We've got reds, very grounded, then the yellows coming up here. So that will be the top lumbar vertebrae, be L1, and then because there's all these different numbers I've got to check, it will be T10, which is thoracic 10, with the ribs coming out of it, down to L1, and L1 is the top lumbar vertebrae, and then you've got three, the top or the bottom three thoracic ones. So you've got the red here, you've got the green in the sacrum, very low, very grounded, then the red is still grounded. The yellow is quite fine, the yellow, so you're coming up, and the yellow, again, you can't really get all the different colours in the throat, but the yellows would also be, you get the front of the throat, and the trachea is all cartilage and connective tissue, so it does relate a bit to the trachea, but you know, I'm including the throat as well. It's easier in holographic breathing because you can get into smaller parts with it. So that is the yellow. I have to kind of watch the time because the video ends at half an hour, so I'm trying to get it all in half an hour. Got yellow, and we're going up to clear. So on the other one we've got red. That is green, red and blue, and all together you get kind of a clear light, or much more towards the middle, it's much clearer. There they are, separate. Oops, last three, red, green, there's blue, blue. And then you put all three together and you get the white light. So the white light is like into the sinuses, the maxillary sinuses. The face are like the lungs for the face, into here and into here. See this bottom surface of the eyes, that's the upper surface of the maxilla, of the the maxilla, and the maxillary sinuses, and the bone is like wafer thin. So in here, now it comes out to about here, and then it all comes back to the inside edge of the nose. So from there to the inside edge of the nose to the roof of the mouth. This is hollow. These are like lungs for the face. This is a clear light. It's a lot to do with the lungs. It's a lot to do with the colon. The cranial fluid, it relates to the cranial fluid a lot. It relates a bit to the lymph. But it's just clear light, like daylight. That's great. It's like the lungs. It's really clear, clean energy. So this is like the lungs for the face. The maxillary sinus is the lungs for the face. And it's also into the sphenoid, into the ethmoid. But you wouldn't use the face cluster for that. You'd use the eye cluster, much lighter, and it's over the eyes, and you go right into the ethmoid, which is the very top of the maxilla here, inside, between the eyes. Also fine, fine sinuses. So that's also clear light. So, there we go. For the cranium, lungs, for the cranium. The ear holes, you've got around the ear holes, you've got the temporal bones, the mastoid process there. These are like the lungs for the cranium. Over the ears, over the temporal bones. Just stick it over your ears and you bang on. It's also the top of the, into the TMJs is this colour. So it's great. Put it there and you breathe. Clears the ears as well. Oh, lovely, lovely. Just a very clear. Funny, you put all these colours together and you just get clear light, and the body registers that. It's like daylight, really nice, bright day shining in your ears and into the temporal bones. So in the face, maxillary sinuses with the eye cluster, not with this cluster, over the ethmoid bone, then here. And then in the spine, you're going up another 4 vertebrae. That will be T6 to T9 inclusive, which is directly behind the lungs. It relates a lot to the lungs. That's behind the lungs, and it's that nice clear light. The throat is dead center of the throat, kind of dead center of the spine, clear light. Okay, so time is doing okay on time. Then blue. Going up another level, going up to blue. Blue. The cheekbones around here. Here. These cheekbones, the zygomatic arch on both sides, top, front, face. This is blue, is a lot to do with the kidneys, the adrenals, the bladder, penis, vagina, but also the nerves. You put it on this and you start feeling it going out through the nerves, through the body. It relates a lot to the nerves. They all relate to the nerves, but there's something, this, you put it here and you feel the ends of your fingers tingling as it works out through the nerves. So in the face, it's kind of, you going up in vibration each time. So the blue is a higher vibration. I've actually set the colour and the resonation on this as lower within the blues, because they're high, getting high up in the scheme of things, but also there's a spectrum within themselves. The penis and vagina, which is the lower blues, is very grounded, and then the bladder is a bit more high, and then out to the kidneys is a bit higher, and then up to the adrenals is higher again. And I've set this so it activates around more the bladder, and it will still works with the kidneys and adrenals, but helps that energy to drop down and ground and work out. So that's this area. Now, so it's the upper front of the face, the upper front of the cranium. It's the frontal bone all around here. Lovely. Oh, feels so nice, that blue. Very, very particular energy, and these are so nice and soft, the face ones. It just is the right vibration to work in there. Not so many infrared, and a nice gap between it to let all of the light homogenize. I use wide angle lenses in the LED, so it spreads out anyway. I don't do the fine ones, I really let it all spread out, so it's much more natural. And inside we have this kind of thing of light bouncing backwards and forwards that builds up in a very soft way and just infuses into the body, and it's this front part of the cranium. And then you work up a layer in the spine, which will be T2 to T5, this area, and relates to the kidneys, the adrenals, the bladder, the penis, vagina. In the throat, it's the top throat here, under the chin, into these, and you get these, also these the glands under here, a lot to do with the blues. So it's the upper front, and this all relates. We've got all the points for the body as well, which I'll do in the arms, the legs, the torso, the back. This is reflected in those areas in all sorts of different ways, so you can work with the different colours to get the different organs, different energies. blue. So what are we next? Okay, next we are going to use the other machine. We work up to the violet. So red, yellow and blue. So red, green and blue gives clear light. Red, yellow and blue gives an off-white violet. Really nice for the high energies. There's no earth in this. The green is like the earth. It's minus the earth. And you just, it just gets this lovely, wherever you put it on your body, you get this stream of energy coming out through the top of the head. It's really nice. So this is the high energies. It's the brain, central nervous system, the cerebellum. It's also a bit to do with the arms and legs, which actually more are light blue, but it's the higher energies. And in the face it's the higher energies, and we wouldn't actually use this one for the face. We would use the eye one. Hopefully this has got that. They don't all have that. No. Unfortunately, this is an older model. Only the most recent ones have that, but we would use the one from the eyes, but it is that colour, but in the eye cluster. The violet in the eye cluster. And that's for the eyes. So I'll do it at a distance so it's not too bright. It's on the eyes. Kind of, yeah. Get that nice violet. On the cranium, the upper cranium, you've got the parietal bones, and hold that all together. So you're up here, you get this column coming out the top of the head, but also the whole parietal bones here. Then the top of the spine, top 4 vertebrae. This also relates to the arms and legs, and also back of the throat. When you're doing the throat, it's the upper back, kind of working around that whole area. So you get the higher energies here. For the spine, the green is always, you always get the green, as well as it being very grounded, you get the green next to, so you've got the higher energies up here, and then the green directly from it grounding it, you see. And at you've got the higher energies, which is the violets. Checking the time. Okay, this one doesn't have violet in it, but green, the other face one has the violet. But the green is the lower back, which helps ground it. You get this higher, bright energy coming out through the top of the head, and then it's like connecting to deep space through the back of the head, and the earth is darker, deeper, grounded energy, and it all works together. And I've got to finish because this is going to run out now. So thank you. Thank you for listening.